Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have done half of this lesson on the face of it, where we have discussed the conversation between Derry and Mr. Lamb, who is often called as Lamy Lamb. Both are physically impaired. They have the disabilities, but one is optimistic with experience and one is pessimistic. The young boy, Derry, is very pessimistic, whom Mr. Lamb is giving life lessons through conversation. So take out page number 61 so that we can continue from page number 61. And the entire play is a conversation between Derry and Lamb and a slight conversation with mother. Derry's conversation with the mother. So take out page number 61 and let me share the screen. Yes, page number 61 we are on. And if you see, and that's all true, you know it won't make my face change. As we discussed, he's a defiant boy. All the time he's saying that my face wouldn't change. Do you know, one day a woman went by me in the street and I was at a bus stop and she was with another woman and she looked at me and she said in whispers, she whispered, only I heard her. She said, look at that, that's terrible thing. That is a face only a mother could love. So this boy Derry shares an experience of his which he faced in the market, and he discussed that two women were passing and they talked about him, calling him a terrible thing. So you believe everything you hear then. It was cruel on their part, or it was cruel. Maybe not meant as such, something said between them. Only I heard it. Now he stresses that I heard them talking. So people talk about me like this. And is that the only thing that you ever heard anyone say in your life? Oh no, I have heard a lot of things. So now you keep your ears shut. You keep your ears shut to these things. Dear students, there's a saying that gossip comes to an end when it reaches the wise ears. Gossip is no more carried further if it comes to an end. So these things he suggests, this small boy, young boy who has just started his life and he has faced a misfortune that shut your ears. You are peculiar. You say peculiar things. You say strange things. Terry says to this man, this lamb, who asks questions I don't. You ask questions I don't understand. I like to talk, have company. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to stop here at all. The gate is open. Mr. Lamb tells him that you don't have to answer me. You don't have to. You're not at all answerable to me in any way. You can come anytime. You can go anytime. The gate is always open. Moving on to the next part of the lesson, he talks about the natural, beautiful things, bountiful, which were there in his garden. He tells him, I have a bee hive. I have a hive of bees behind those trees. So he had trees, bees, birds, fruits, flowers, weeds. And he says some hear bees and they say bees buzz. But when you listen to bees for a long while, they hum. And hum means sing. So he says that optimistic people and pessimistic people and deserted, desperate people and happy and jovial people have their own approaches towards outlook towards life. Some will say the bees, they sing. And some say they are irritating, they buzz. I hear them singing and I consider it as singing. So he tries to infuse a lot of positivity, tries to make him change his thinking. But I liked it here. I came in because I liked it when I looked over the wall. If you had seen me, you had not have come in. No. It had have been trespassing. That's not why. You would have passed and would have not come in if you had seen me. Mr. Lamb says, I don't like being near people. Terry expresses himself, little opens up. He says, I don't like people and I don't like being near people. When they stare, when I see them being afraid of me. So he is a boy of wounded psyche, we call it. Psychologically wounded boy. Physically wounded, but that has reached to him inside somewhere. It is making him feel that pain all the time. He's worried about that. That he has a burnt face, no one likes him, no one loves him, no one will ever like him in future also. His mother also loves him because she has to love him. So this way he is carrying forward, and all of a sudden, or one fine morning, he jumps into the garden of Mr. Lamb, where he is interacting with him. There was a man who did that. Now Mr. Lamb gives him an anecdotal learning instance. He shares, you could lock yourself in a room and never leave it. There was a man who did that. He locked himself. And what happened to him? He shares this anecdote. He was afraid, you see, of everything. Everything in this world. A bus might run over him. A man might breathe deadly germs onto him. Or a donkey might kick him to death. Or lightning might strike him down and he might have a girl. He might love a girl and the girl would leave him. And he was a pessimistic man and he thought always the things which will do wrong to him. And he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people saw him would laugh their heads off. So in imaginations he used to think all negative and pessimistic. So he went into his room and locked the door and got into his bed and stayed there forever. Forever. For a while. Then what? Derya, then what happened to this man? A picture fell on the wall, off the wall on his head and killed him. So he did not go out, but he still died. So there is no place for cowards. And then Derry laughs a lot. Maybe after so many months, he's laughing. You see, but you still say particular, peculiar, strange things. Peculiar to me, to some. What do you do all day? Now the conversation has become a little healthier. From a defiant boy, he has become a little adjustable person in talking. So, what do you do all day? Sit in the sun, read books. Ah, you thought it was an empty house, but inside it is full books and other things. But there aren't any curtains at the windows. I'm not fond of curtains. Mr. Lamb says that he did not like curtains. He did not like shuttings and shutting things out and shutting things in. I like the light and the darkness and the windows open to hear the wind. So he's teaching, take the life as it comes to you. Right? Yes, I like that when it is raining. I like to hear it on the roof. So you're not lost. The most beautiful line in the lesson I feel as a reader is, so you are not lost. You're not lost when you have hobbies. You're never lost, depressed, repressed, suppressed. You're not pessimistic if you have your own world, if you love nature, if you love, because somewhere creativity is related to happiness. So when you go in your garden and plant a rose bush or a rose sapling or any other sapling, you're doing something creative. It gives you happiness. So these are just examples which I'm sharing, children, but this line can take us far. You're not lost. When you enjoy, he's telling him, when you enjoy raining, that means you are not lost, not altogether. You do hear things. You listen. You not only hear, but you listen to them. They talk about me downstairs when I'm not there. What will he ever do? Now, again, he comes back to the point that these people, they talk about me. What will he do? What is going to happen to him when we have gone? His parents might be talking that what will happen of a son when we will not be there. However, he will get on in the world, in this world, looking like that, with that on his face. That's what they say. Lord, boy, you have got two arms, two legs, and eyes and ears. You've got a tongue and a brain. Mr. Lamb keeps reminding him that you are fully grown up, wonderful, beautiful creation of God. Only you have a burnt face. And he gives him examples. You have everything, you have a brain. You'll get on the way you want like all the rest. And if you choose and set your mind to it, you could get on better than all the rest. It's not, impairments are never physical. We have heard these lines also. We have in quotations and all that the barriers are mental, not physical. So he's trying to teach him these lessons, how same way as I do. Do you have any friends? Hundreds. You live by yourself, but you live by yourself in that house. It's a big house too. Friends everywhere. People come in every day. Knows me. The gate is always open. They come sit here and in the front of the fire in winter. Kids come for the apples and pears and for toffee. I make toffee with honey. Anybody comes, so have you. Just as you have come, anybody can come, and they do come. Let me tell you, dear children, Mr. Lamb is also lonely, but he's not revealing before them. If he would reveal his own struggles, the boy would become more pessimistic and stop living on. But I'm not a friend. Certainly you are. So far as I'm concerned, what have you done to make me think you are not a friend? When Derry asks, I'm not your friend, he says, you have done nothing that you become my enemy. When you are not enemy, at least you are my friend. What should that signify? Terry says, you don't know me, you don't know where I come from, and even what my name is. That hardly matters. Why should that signify? Do I have to write all your particulars down and put them in a filing box before you can be a friend? So do I have to maintain a register before making you a friend? You could tell me your name if you choose, and if not, if you didn't, and not if you didn't. Derry. Only it's Derek, but I hate that. Now he hates his name also, so there's a lot of hatred for the world. The hatred for the world will never allow you to be at peace, and that's why Derry is not at peace. He's receiving hatred, he will spread hatred. And Mr. Lamb, as an elderly person, an experienced person who has already suffered a setback, who doesn't have a leg or has a tin leg, trying to teach this young boy so many things altogether. I might never come here again. You might never see me again, and then I couldn't still be a friend. Why not? How could I? You pass people in the street and you might even speak to them, but you never see them again. It doesn't mean they are your friends. You meet people, but that doesn't mean that they become your friends. Doesn't mean they are enemies either, does it? So they are not enemies also. No, they are just nothing. People, that's all. Mr. Lamb teaches him that people are never nothing. People are just nothing when he says, people are never just nothing. Never. Please underline, the old man has taught him a big lesson. Do not underestimate people. Appearances may be deceptive. There are some people I hate. That would do more harm than any bottle of acid. Acid only burns your face. Hatred will burn you completely. Only, like a bomb only blew up my leg. There's worse things can happen. You can burn yourself away inside. So these treachery, drudgery, grudges, and hatred and anger will burn you from inside. So basically, he's talking about hatred and that negativity. And I had come, one person said he had have been better off stopping in there. And he says, when I was in the hospital, people said he's better there with his type of people in the hospital and people with no legs altogether. So he is sharing his own agonies that he has faced, the pressures, the stresses that he has faced because of ill behavior, right? And I had come home. One person said he had have been better off stopping in there in the hospital. He would be better off with others like himself. She thinks blind people only ought to be with other blind people and idiot boys with other idiot boys and people with no legs altogether. So Mr. Lamb says, so I should stay with people who don't have legs. That's right. What kind of a world that would be? Would that be? Sorry. And at least there would be nobody to stare at you because you weren't like them. So you think you are just the same and all the other people with burned faces just by what you look like. Everything is different. Again, you can underline, dear students, everything is different. We all have our individual talents, our learnings, our likings, our dislikings. Everything is the same, but everything is different itself. We all are different. And everything, if you see in general, you will find similar. But if you study, analyze them deeply, even the people, their behaviors, their natures, we all know all these things as human beings. I would like a place like this. Then he expresses himself. He opens up. I like a garden. I would like a house with no curtains. The gate is always open. But this house is not mine. He expresses again that this house is yours. Everything is yours if you want it. What is mine is anybody's. So I could come here again. He seeks for his permission. Even if you were out, I could come here. Certainly you can come. You might find others here, of course. Oh, well, that need not stop you. You need in mind. It would stop them. I would not stop, but it would stop your friends on seeing me with a burnt face. They would mind me. When they saw me here, they look at my face and run. They would look and run away from you. There is saying, no one will mind, but the people, those who will be here, they will definitely mind my presence. They might not. A beautiful answer is this. If they might, don't care. If they bother, don't care. If they do not bother, don't care. You would have to take the risk. So would they. No, you would. You might have me and lose all your friends. He says, if you will make me your friend, then you will lose all your friends. I have not moved. Right? Because anybody wants to stay near me if they can help it. Now Delhi says, no, you would. You might have me and lose all other friends because nobody wants to stay near me if they can help it. I have not moved. When I go down the street, the kids shout, "Lamy lamb." They call me Lamy lamb, but they still come to my garden, into my house. It's a game. They are not afraid of me. Why should they be? Because I'm not afraid of them. Did you get your leg blown off in the war? Yes. See, when you are obsessed with your problems, you forget to ask other people about their problems. Now Derry is in bit his senses and he's asking Mr. Lamb, what happened to you? How did your leg got blown off? How will you climb on a ladder and get the crab apples down there? Oh, there are a lot of things. There a lot of things I have learned to do and plenty of time for it. Years I take it steady. I move smoothly and steadily. I have learned hundreds of things in these years. If you fell and broke your neck, you could lie on the grass and die. If you were on your own, I could. Yes, I could die. You said I could help you. Can I help you then? If you want to. But my mother will want to know where I am. It's 3 miles from home. Across the fields, I'm 14, but they still want to know where I am. People worry. He says, your mother might be worrying. He says, no, people fuss. There's a quite discrepancy in the notions of old man and the young boy. It's not only the difference of young and old, but it is the difference of outlook towards life, accepting life. The young boy is not so experienced. He is only worried about his burnt face. Many challenges will come in his way. He will learn to cope up with them. But at this moment, he's suffering and suffering. 3 miles and my mother would like to know where am I. And they fuss. And when Mr. Lamb covers up the things and says, they worry. Go back and tell them, it's 3 miles, it's a fine evening. You have got legs, you can run. So he makes him realize his strength, that I don't have a leg and I cannot run. But you can run and go home and tell your mother where you have been for these couple of hours. You don't know what I could do. And then further moving on to the conversation, we find they tell me, do you have to agree? Let's read the last line. If you choose, I don't know everything, boy. I can't tell you what to do. So he says, they tell me, do you have to agree? Whatever they tell you, do you agree to all that? What they say to you, what they say all the time to you? I don't know what I want. I want something no one else has got or ever will have. Something just mine like this garden. I don't know what it is. You could find out how. What you want. What do you want in your life? You can find out. He says waiting, watching, listening. How? He asked how I can find what I want, how I can introspect that. Wait, watch, listen, introspect. Sitting here or going there, I will have to see to the bees. And then he says, I will have to look after my. Some do, some don't. Those other people who come here, do they talk to you? Ask you things? Some do, some don't. I ask them. So he says, people don't, when Derry says, people don't love me, he says, do you love? Have you ever given yourself the time to look at the bees, the flowers, the weeds, the fruits, and yourself? Or we are worried about others, only what others will say, what others are saying, and what others have said about us? This way, the boy is growing little mature. And finally, the conflict in the play is, dear students, that the boy is very pessimistic and he's not at peace. How this conflict is resolved, let's move further, right, through the dialogues. Okay, so you think what you please. All right, then tell me some of their names. I'm sorry, some do, some don't. I ask them, I like to learn. I don't believe in them. I don't think anybody ever comes. Now Terry says, I don't believe you that your friends come. And you're all by yourself and miserable, and no one would know if you are alive or dead. And nobody cares about you. You're telling lies. You think what you please? All right then, tell me some of their names. What are their names? What are names? Tom, Dick, Harry. He says, what is there in a name? People are people. I love them even if they don't love me. So Tom, Dick, Harry, and I think you are daft, you are crazy. Harry says, Mr. Lamb, you are crazy. That's a good excuse. What for? You don't talk sense. Good excuse not to come back and you have got a burned up face, and that's other people's excuse. You are like others. You like to say things like that. If you don't feel sorry for my face, you are frightened of it. And if you're not frightened, you think I'm ugly as devil. I'm a devil, don't you? Mr. Lamb does not reply to this. He keeps quiet. Dear students, have you understood this much of the play? The story as it is moving? If there is any query, you can ask me. Yes?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay. So, dear students, these two characters have some common disability or similarities. They both are lonely, they both are disabled in some or the other way. But do you think Mr. Lamb is really disabled? His life has taught him tremendous lessons, Lamb has got tremendous lessons and learnings in his life, which Derry needs to learn. So he's step by step giving him so many things through conversation. Good excuse not to come back. Now he says, Derry, you don't talk sense. You talk senseless. He says, good excuse not to come back. And you have got a burnt face, and that's other people's excuse. You are like others. Now the argument or the conversation is bit and in an angry tone, right? So he says that you are like others and you are saying things like others and you're frightened of it And if you're not frightened, you think I'm ugly as a devil. I'm a devil, don't you? Right? No, you don't. And Mr. Lamb does not reply to all these things of sad things of this young boy. You don't, I like it here.